Welcome to the halftime show. While the Redskins and Cowboys face their coaches in the locker room, let's address an extremely important issue that has faced the NFL as of late. As time has gone by, it has come to light that concussions suffered while playing sports can have long-lasting effects, particularly for football players. Multiple concussions can lead to brain disease very similar to dementia and is considered brain damage. This has recently become a hot topic in the news. That means a lot of research had to be done to provide the necessary evidence. If you wanted to contribute to the research in this area, what would that look like? Let's say you wanted to look at data that already exists. In this case, you could conduct a cohort study. With this design, you could do a retrospective study design where you could look at historical data. Or you could do a prospective study, which would mean that a group of similar individuals are followed over time. So you find a bunch of data on a bunch of football players who have suffered from concussions. You could compare two things, such as those who get hit in a certain position or place on the head and those who don't. Or perhaps compare two groups of ages that suffered from concussions to see if that has an impact on long-term effects. You could even look at the difference between a defensive back getting a concussion versus a quarterback. Which position poses more of a risk, or does position matter at all? But what if you wanted to do an experimental study? In this case, you could do a randomized clinical trial and test certain treatments that could help after suffering from a concussion, or test different protocols and certain lengths of time of rest to see if that makes a difference in long-lasting effects. Your best bet, though, would probably be to test different kinds of protective equipment, including helmets and additional padding. You would have to, again, be very careful to get a good sample size and make sure that your control and experimental groups were, in fact, random. A randomized clinical trial is ideal. It will minimize selection bias. This kind of study would focus on prevention, and it would be a great contribution in the field of public health. Now, back to the game. We start the second half with the score of 24-17 with the Redskins leading. Go Skins!